You okay, Kim? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:32.
Where's our big minutes?
Yeah.
So you're going to do this tonight? Or you're gonna do...
Okay.
Or we can share.
All right. So the first thing we have then is, looks like we're in signatures.
For open time for public for Mrs. Ahart?
Absolutely. Mrs. Ahart.
I'm sorry, it's in your packet with the Fournier, with the letter, the 2 emails received for Mr. Noon and Mr. Hall.
Right. And they'd asked us to compose a letter for our signature.
Yes.
So has that been done?
Yes.
Okay.
The original letter is in front of Doug.
Okay. So is the town still going to get the $76,000 towards the taxes?
Oh, that was paid.
Okay, so the letter indicated it was going to happen. It was in the
Yeah,
future.
well, I quizzed my committee because the date that we had our town meeting that we voted this at was February 7th, 2006.
Okay.
So it was 6 years ago. In May, I think, was when we went to the closing on it, and I rode over with Christy Shea, and she came back with the checks in hand.
Okay.
So that has been paid.
And spent.
I'm sure by now. That was almost 6 years ago.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, so that has happened. I think that the state just wants those figures in front of them, that we acknowledge that these things happened.
That was the sense I had as well, that it was in the sense of formality to get it in writing, that the three things would occur. The town would receive some money and some other monies would be allocated, 36 and 40. Okay, all righty, so we would need a motion to approve the signature of that.
I'll move to approve the signature.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And the letter's in front of Doug. It's in the signature section right there.
This purple one here?
Just needs the chair's signature or all of them?
Just me for now, so. And also Virginia, if you wouldn't mind signing these too. And we'll be all set.
Hopefully, we will be all set. It's like everything the state does. You wait and wait, and then it's hurry up, wait.
Just like being in the Army.
Yeah, the original.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Janet, do you have anything?
Janet, she's a member of the committee.
Oh, okay, so she was just there. Okay, so we are still in open time for the public. Anything else from the public? Okay, then we'll move on.
Oh, I have one thing if I may.
Sure.
The meeting I went to for the Chamber of Commerce.
At the country club.
Absolutely excellent. They have got such a great organization. We had it a couple of weeks ago at the country club here in Southampton. The turnout was phenomenal. They had several hundred people there.
Remind us what that was about, what the organization is, and,
That was actually the awards and that sort of thing.
yeah.
Okay, and then I was introduced as a representative of Southampton and for the person to go to and to help to promote business through the chamber. And the chamber is they're very active, and they want very much to be a part of helping business get promoted in Southampton. And they're doing a totally phenomenal job. I'm very impressed. And yeah, we should continue to go to this thing, and I think the more active we are, the better off we'd be, and we could certainly help people that are having any problems whatsoever in the town of Southampton, and they would be willing to help also. okay?
How often do they meet, do you know?
There's a schedule right here. It looks like once a month. Yeah, here it is right here. The next meeting's in February. It's networking by night, and it's at Nini's Restaurant, 5 to 7, and it's sponsored by, ironically, Ed Batchelder and Associates. And it's real good, and everybody gets together, they give business cards, da-da-da. I've been to them before, they work very well. And then March the 8th, they have another networking thing at Harley Davidson, and it's sponsored by Puffer Printing. And then March the 16th, they have the St. Patty's Day lunch. And the 21st, tabletop logo at the Log Cabin. So it's all things to promote business. It's excellent. And in April the 12th, they got another networking thing. So they're really, really very, very good. Very, very active people. Excellent. So
They were happy to see
I'm
you
glad
there.
we're a part of it now. Okay?
All right, great,
sir.
thank you for going, that's great.
Thanks for the
It's
report.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes,
I wanted to mention about the display case that's at the Old Town Hall. I wanted to have it moved over here for the veterans. And I was wondering, did you talk to your wife?
I did, and I sent you an email about it to two separate email addresses,
Yeah.
with you at town and you at your home email.
Could you reiterate some of the email, please? I'm having a
Simply
problem.
that I gave you the name of the, there's two co-chairs, co-presidents of the Women's Club. My wife didn't know who had the ownership of it.
Oh, okay.
So I sent you the name of the woman whose name escapes me. That was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, see, I've been having problems with my email. I can't even get into the town one.
Okay, so I sent it to both.
Okay.
I'll ask her and I can write it down.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
But I wanted to ask the other members, Ed Colley said he would bring the display case over here, but it was in between this hallway here or in Reggie's hallway, right outside her office. And I wanted to know what the consensus would be to where to put the display case.
I think where we get the most exposure. Yeah, right, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Would it intrude on traffic flow, or are people likely to hit it, especially in an emergency, if people are hightailing it out of here?
We'd have to get the dimensions to
Yeah.
see how far it goes out.
That'd be my only concern, is if it sticks out into the hall, into the
Sure.
flow of traffic, and, if people get, not stampeding, but
No, that's good thinking, yeah.
Who would know the proper dimensions? Do you think Ed Colley would know, or?
Or the fire department, probably.
Fire department.
Okay, I can talk to the chief about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I guess a wheelchair should be able to get by with ease.
two wheelchairs.
And that would be the biggest
Right.
thing, I would think.
Right.
Because the stretcher's not even as big as the wheelchair. Yeah, but fire department, bingo, I think that would be the key.
Okay, so if I check with him, is it okay for this?
I think it's wonderful, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Sounds like a good idea.
You had mentioned something about the key in rotating.
Right, right. It's so that all veterans have a chance to display their service. And you had said something about Reggie having the key, or who was in charge at the town hall before?
The key was hanging in the treasurer collector's office, and it was alternated with displays.
Okay. Did they have a form that you had to sign?
No.
Kind of book a space for that month? Because we want it to be revolving, so it's not just one.
Yeah. No, there was no form, to my knowledge.
Do you think that's?
Okay, that's good. Yeah, one of the concerns that I've heard about, I hope I'm in line, Dale Carnegie, eat your heart out, is is that some people thought it was their own personal thing to put in all their memorabilia, blah, blah, blah. And it's for everybody, not just one person or one,
Right.
Army or Air Force or just one person, blah, blah, blah. So we gotta share it and we gotta do that, okay?
Is that included in the building reuse or building use policy that you've sent out for us?
The use of the display case?
Yeah.
No.
That might be something to add
Separate.
then.
Or separate.
Yeah.
We can make it separate.
Right, it's still part of the building use.
Well, the building use is for the rooms of people occupying
Okay.
the rooms.
Mhm,
The
sure.
use of the case, I would do something separate.
Okay, sure. Just as long as we have something, clear cut and in
Oh,
writing we can point to. But people will sort of tend to assume ownership of it after a decade or so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great, good ideas. Okay, anything else in the open time for the public? Reggie?
Wait, did we get through that vote, or the motion? There was a motion.
To bring the split
Second.
case over? No, the motion was for me signing.
Right.
Yeah, we did
And then
that.
we had discussion, but I don't think we voted.
We did.
We did.
Yeah. And then Janet Brown got up and left right after with the vote.
We all said aye?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I did too?
Yes,
Didn't you second it?
you seconded,
Yeah,
yes.
but I can say aye too.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi there, how are you?
Good, and you? Good. We are still in open time for the public, if there's anything that you have before we move on to other things. Okay. Reggie, you talked about reviewing the special town meeting and recapping it, and I think as everyone knows, there were two items that were approved. One was the CPC, the funding, 742,000 for the first 4 states. I don't want to say phases, because there was some discussion on the floor about what the phases were. It was really sort of a typo. There were sub-phases. But anyway, 4 units of work that would not include the fixed building and the fixed septic, I believe. But it did anticipate starting this year, and we're really happy about that. And then there was another item that was funded too, which was...
Transferred the 10,000 from ambulance to police.
Right, and then the other items, after some discussion, we decided to either take no action or to pass over, and we're still trying to understand the rules of that pertain when you want to pass something over. So,
I got something to say, if I may.
sure.
In regard to the town meeting, we passed over some items, and we were urged to do so by the Finance Committee because we did not know where we were financially. And it was just very risky to pass all these things and to take all of the money that we would have and let's call it reserve, but we really didn't know where we were 100% with the storm and so on and so forth. I'm the one that made that resolution or rule, not rule, whatever you want to call it, for the town meeting. And I had to cancel it. I had to ask to cancel it, to pass it over, because at the urging of the Finance Committee and where we were financially, I feel very, very, very bad about that. When we do find out where we are, I want to bring that back, and I want to pay them retroactively for that time. I honestly, honestly do. They deserve it. And what I had to do at the meeting killed me. It really, truly did. Just saying, okay, I'm the one that brought this up, put it on the docket, and now I think the smartest thing we can do is take it off because we don't know where we are financially. That killed me to do it, it pained me, but it was the smart thing to do. And I didn't like it at all, but we've got to take these people and we've got to take care of them.
Right.
Okay? We can't forget them, because that's the big thing. You just say, oh, we'll take care of you next negotiations. Next negotiations, no, we don't have any money. It's all the same baloney. We got to take care of these people. Those are the supervisors and the non-union people. We gotta do it, period. And I just want to go on a record as saying that. I
Okay.
feel very strongly about it.
Okay.
So are you going to plan to bring it up again at the, like the special?
That's
I mean,
correct,
not the
yeah.
special, the annual?
When we got our act together, we should know by when.
Well, see, if the annual town meeting is around June, it has to be by June 30 anyway.
Yeah.
We hopefully will know, especially with MEMA, we may not know with FEMA.
Yeah.
And I talked to Representative
Okay.
Kokoff the other night about MEMA, and he promised that he would also push some action
Sure.
through to make sure that we know
Yeah.
for our budgets.
Okay. 'Cause I'm just very concerned this is going to just get passed over, and it's so easy to do that. And then the people, they lost all of that raise that they should have gotten had we known where we were or had we had the money. It's not the right thing to do. It really, truly isn't. Our employees are the most valuable asset we have. So,
Okay,
that's all.
thank you. All right, anything else on the special town meeting, which was last Tuesday? Okay, and review the budget. We don't have finance committee here,
No, that is a draft that I put together to submit to the Finance Committee prior. I had a meeting with them on February 28th.
Okay.
So I just gave that for you, the board members, to review, look over. And to put back on the agenda for your next meeting to discuss.
Which would be before you meet
21st,
with...
correct.
Would it be on the 21st?
Mhm.
21st, okay, I got that down.
Okay, so, now I get it. So this is our department's budget,
Yes, yes.
not the entire...
No, not yet.
That's what, somehow that's where my head went on that, so, okay. And we've decided on the elevator inspection frequency, and some of these
I
things
just
are...
inserted estimates, and those estimates were what we received from Bay State. But yes, the North School is seeking quotes currently.
Right,
I just
there's
threw a number in
June,
there,
sure.
yes, yeah.
Where are you finding that? Is
It's a few pages in.
It's in a separate packet.
The
it's
packet.
separate.
Yeah. This next one here. Yeah, so, our internet service, we know in advance what that cost is. Okay.
Oh, here it is.
Well, you obviously have much more day-to-day contact with some of these amounts, most of these amounts than we do, so. If legal stays the same level, it's,
I didn't, yeah, it did not increase it nor decrease it.
Jess,
yes.
I have a question about building maintenance. Did they hire somebody full-time?
That's posted right now.
No, it's not posted.
not?
That PRF was never approved at this time. It's actually up to, John Martin just stated this evening, it's up to the select board to find the funds, the additional funds for the 40-hour.
So that will be part of this year's budget discussions. Sorry, I thought it had been posted.
So we'll make that decision along with the finance committee, I presume?
I'm sorry?
We'll make that decision along with the finance committee.
I believe so.
So Reggie's note here says, well, if it doesn't work, why not go back to part-time under 20 hours?
I just proposed that.
Yeah, no, that's, when you think about it, we went to the 40 hours, it would report to the highway department, and that person would be available for other things. If, and Ed says he can't fund that,
Right.
even though he's funding it now, but he won't be able to for much longer,
Right.
which makes sense.
Okay.
So if we drop back to part-time, then that person would not report, have anything to do with the highway, but simply
That
be
person
here.
could, that person could, but the funding's there. Going back part-time,
I mean, just the dollar amount of the funding.
right.
But they wouldn't any longer need to be under Ed's
Right.
purview.
Why not? I'm just, throwing out there, why not? Would you want him to be in charge of the buildings? The maintenance, the care of the buildings?
What we talked about was really the most efficient
Mhm.
possible, so if we had one person who knew the various buildings and things like that. So, obviously that gets into the money, but the money would need to come from somewhere. If it comes from separate sources and just is added up, there's no difference dollar-wise than if it comes from one source, I think.
I thought that we discussed that it would come under Ed Colley's.
He sent us a letter for the last meeting we had here. He said he could no longer afford that.
Oh.
He was actually funding it. That was the tone and intent of his letter. So all we need to do is find some money. Which is a common proverbial situation here. Okay. So that's one that we certainly need to look at then, and subsequently needs to be properly, the PRF needs to be in place once we figure out what
Yes.
we're going to do.
Yes.
So if it's money first, then the PRF. Okay, so we need to talk with ourselves and finance.
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me, who's cleaning now?
Highway, two guys from Highway.
Okay. Do they clean the bathrooms?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else that you wanted to bring up? 11,000 odd that's there right now, is that the previous line item for the part-time?
The 11,000 that's there is, Joe Muse was at 1560, which was a
Right.
grade 7, step 9, I'm throwing a number out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I just brought it back down to step 1. And that was, the details, 11 something per hour.
Okay.
But again, that's something the board may want to discuss to increase.
Mhm. Yep, okay, it's 11:49, yeah. Okay, so we'll need to talk about that then, too. Does anybody have any ideas at this point of where we might find the money?
Do you
Good
think
luck.
that job could go back to 20 hours and still be done adequately? That's the question.
I think so. For now, I think so. But that's my opinion.
So Joe was at 20,
He was
but
at
he
20 hours.
but he volunteered time, too.
He did. He came in an hour and a half every Friday to mop the floors when no one was here.
Okay, so one of the things that we could do then is if we have, I'm assuming we have that 11,000. Is it a line item?
You have that line item. For this year, for FY12, it was not fully funded because of his retirement.
Mhm.
So that line item is short right now. The monies were transferred into the building, town hall building expense with the proposed, I think you were going to go out and hire a company to do the
Right.
custodial. But that didn't happen. So you
Right.
do have the funds for the 1560 at 20 hours, which is equivalent to about 16,000 plus some. You do have that money.
Mhm. So we could theoretically, well, then you get into the benefits question too. So one of our options would be to try someone at tier 1 instead of 11.49 an hour, 20 hours a week, and see if we can get it done. Best estimate is that we could. So,
Or 19 hours a week, no
Yeah.
benefits, at 1560.
true.
You can still do that.
Board have any ideas, thoughts, opinions on that?
I hate to cut somebody an hour just so we can't give them benefits.
Well, that's about 10,000 on benefits.
I think what you have on your table right now is to find the funding for the 40-hour position. That's on the table right now.
One of our options then is to table this, leave this aside for now. Try to find the funding for the 40-hour position, divide up that work appropriately, because I think it would lead to more efficiencies anyway, it's my own personal opinion, and then have that supervised by the highway. If we can't do that, would be to drop back into this 19 hours per week. Go from there.
Yeah.
The 40-hour was not only for custodial, but it was also to help the highway department,
Correct.
Right.
not only here at the
Right,
building.
that's why I said in this conversation,
I'm sorry.
that person would also be available to help
Okay.
at highway. So,
Mhm.
okay. All right, so somebody want to agree with that or make a motion or?
Well, you already I'm sorry, excuse me. You've already voted on that position?
True. Okay, so we don't
So
really.
the goal right now is to find the money.
Okay,
That's the goal.
all right.
Do we have partial funding now?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We have partial funding till when, July?
For this position?
Yeah.
We have 16,000 we have now.
Mm-hmm. Well, not the whole amount, because Joe worked half the year, so.
Okay. How much more do we need for the whole year?
It depends on how much you pay them. If you pay them $15.60 at 19 hours a week, that would come out to, is that the 14,354, or 11,354?
No, that's the 1149
149, okay.
at 19 hours.
Right, okay.
Okay. Good, good.
Sorry about that. Hello, Michael.
Hello, how are you? Mr. Phelan, how are you?
Good, sir. Just advance, we have the robocams tonight. They're everywhere.
Dale Carnegie?
Big brother is watching. Oops, watch me fall out of my chair.
Okay, so we'll just hold, what we're talking about here is that potential 40-hour position for maintenance.
Yep.
You remember, you're good.
There's a phone call on my cell phone, I remember.
Thanks. And we've been advised by the finance committee that we need to find the money for it. So that's,
We have some funding though. What do we got, 11,000 you said?
Well, we should have the extra money that we put in the expense line
Yeah.
because we dumped that extra money into expenses because we didn't know where we were going to need it. So that's some of it.
some of it, right. So we can meet with finance and try to parse it out with them. And/or another thing we were talking about, Mike, before you arrived, is to drop back to a 19-hour position here and then not include that combining with the highway, but that, to me, would be a last resort because of the efficiencies we might get with combining it.
Yeah. I guess, is there any way we can comb through the budget? Are they saying they don't want us because there's not a line item for it? Is that what they're saying? Or are they saying that if we know where there are lines that aren't going to be used, that we can, at the end of the year, transfer money and cover it?
Yeah, that's what they're
Saying
saying.
find the money.
Find the money.
So we know how much, 11,000 or
I don't think it's 11.
half of
It
Joe?
was half of 16, so it's 8.
8. Well,
What
maybe,
portion of, I'm sorry.
go ahead, no. So there's 8. How much do we need?
I don't know. I don't know what the wage is of the 40-hour.
So maybe we ought to meet with Ed to see if Ed has, because Ed's going to have some extra money, not extra money, but he's going to have, obviously, come into money from FEMA and MEMA, hopefully.
Hopefully, right.
And maybe the thing to do is to try and fund, see if Ed can limp along with transferring the 8, and then, obviously, next budget cycle, we have to include it.
I was thinking, hopefully, we won't get a lot of snow this year, but don't you budget for snow removal? Will we have some extra money there in the highway department?
It's already gone.
It's gone, yeah.
Because we never budget enough. I've been harping for years that we should be doing a 5-year rolling average, but we can never put enough in there. And the last time I talked to Ed, he had, 2 storms ago, he had $22,000 left. So I'm assuming that's gone by now.
So we're looking at, 15 an hour, just some rough numbers that I did at 1,700 hours a year is 11,500. So it's going to be a little more than that, so say even
It's gotta be-
1,400. Sorry?
40-hour position can be more than $11,000.
Yeah, so maybe it's my multiplication.
$15 an hour times 4 is $450 a week. Rounding it to 5 times is $25,000 a year
It's
position.
a lot better. For some reason my math is off.
Catholic school.
25 is still pretty low.
Okay, so what we had pretty well gotten to was just to talk it out with finance.
Well, if we've got 8, and we've got how many more months left?
March.
The person couldn't be on until March at the earliest. March,
4
April,
months.
May, 4 months, 16 weeks, say $500 a week. How much is that? 16 times 5. 45. You got enough money in your budget right now. If you hire them from March on.
What wage? 1560?
Well, I'm just saying, if
Yeah, that's roughly 8,000, right?
8,000. 16 weeks is 8,000. So if you hire him beginning March 1st and budget for him the next go-round,
That would work. Good thing you came in. I was way out of my territory.
just have to move numbers around. Remember the old saying, figures don't lie, liars figure, or something like that? Is that how that
Something
went?
like that.
But if we hire him on March 1st, you should have enough. The question becomes, and I assume Ed can carry the thing until March 1st. And then we got to budget it. So you've got to add $25,000 or $30,000 to the highway department,
Right.
of which we already pay.
Right.
How much was in Joe? How much did Joe?
Well, this year it was funded, it wasn't funded correctly.
Yeah, but how much would it be? 16.
16 something.
16. So we've got to add the difference between. Well, and you got a little bit at library.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
What?
about 3,000.
So there's
9, 10, or 11,000 fund.
we've got to plug into the highway department to cover this position.
That works. Okay, glad you came in.
You're fast with the numbers.
He is, and he knows the procedures.
So what do we need to do? Do we have somebody for that position now or not?
We haven't
No,
even,
the PRF has not been approved, it hasn't been posted yet.
So can we go back to the finance committee and say, we'll take the maintenance expense line, which
Okay.
is not being used,
right.
transfer that at the end of the season to custodial wage, or actually should get transferred to Ed's account. He's the one funding it now. And then we have to budget it next go around.
Right.
Yep.
Sounds like a good plan.
Okay.
Do we have to have a motion or anything for this, or?
We voted on the position at one point, as Reggie said, so we're just working through the details of it. Okay, good. What we're looking at here, Michael, is the draft budget for our department that Reggie had put together. So it's in the yellow packet, that's it, and it starts about the third page in where the numbers start.
This one?
Fourth page in. Fifth page in.
In here.
We're using different forms.
Oh.
The details are on the next page.
So what we're concerned with is the top section there, selectmen's expenses? Oh, I guess we go down
Oh,
further.
no, you have many.
Yeah, I just,
And these are all actually our department, I was surprised to see we had so many.
I see how it goes now.
Yep.
Well, that's right, too. So there's still money left from when you were, there's another source of money, is that administrative assistant account.
Right.
We never filled that. So we really do have enough money to cover that position. I guess, are we looking at this tonight to go line by line, or what are we going to do?
Hadn't thought so, I thought we just, we could take it home and look at it.
I gave it to, for you guys to take home, and I have it going on the agenda for the 21st.
Well, here's something, just one thing is this administrative assistant wages. I guess we need to know whether we're going to talk about whether we're going to fill that position or not.
Right, and I was hoping to bring that up tonight also, at 7 o'clock when we go into our executive session.
Oh,
It's actually, we're past that now. I don't think so.
Where's Carl? Is he coming here for 7 or what?
His truck was outside, so he may be
He's
in another
meeting with the
meeting.
finance committee.
We can keep on going until he gets here. So you okay with that, Michael, taking that home? And
yeah, I just didn't know what our plan was.
so now then, we are looking at signatures.
You want us to do the payroll warrant amount?
We can sure do that.
Practice.
Can you read that?
Practice. Okay, payroll warrant P12-31 for the total amount of $231,011.11.
Move to carry.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we have a bill warrant number W12-32 for $1,121,244.47.
Move to pass.
Second?
Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Where are we at?
And so there's this one. This is the one for over $1 million. It's exciting to sign something over $1 million.
Bill.
And the school bills are for our...
That's just
Okay.
showing you the details.
Okay. PCFs, PRFs, and disability forms. Federal Maternity Leave Act form to be reviewed, named to not be announced
I have
publicly.
this over here.
Okay. So if we can just pass that down for review.
I didn't look at it.
And these are coming back towards Doug. Okay, so we'll have to just pass this down for individual review, but don't mention the name as per the regulations. Do, 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 do.
Just a form behind it.
And then make the appropriate motions as you see fit.
I forget the purpose. Is that an acceptable purpose for? Okay.
I move to approve the letter.
Second.
Motion's been
Wait a
made.
minute, I seconded it, but I was going to freeze it for a second. That's an unpaid leave, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve an unpaid medical leave request under the Family and Medical Leave Act, FMLA. Any further discussion?
None.
Those in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving down, one-day licenses, nothing at this time. Town owner agreements, discharge of lien. I'll have to come down and sign that in front of Eileen because
Okay.
it requires a notary. But there's two separate items. One is the 30,000 amount, one is the 1,000 amount, both of which need to be notarized. So it's a same people, so if the board can authorize me to sign this in front of Eileen, that would help.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
I guess I can say aye for that. Okay, the next thing then is Housing Needs Assessment Community Development. Again, we are the clearinghouse for the funds from the grant for the Pioneer Valley Planning and the Hilltown Community Development Corporation. So this is contract amendment number 2 that's looking for my signature. Different dates that it was signed by Tim Brennan and Dave Christopoulos.
Move to approve.
Let me give you the amount also. The total amount is $12,580.55. Of course, again, we don't pay this. This is a disbursement through us as the funding disperser. So we had a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
And we're going to need a witness for these two, not a notary, but just a witness. You want to be the witness?
Cheers.
Well, it's sort of. I wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah, boy.
I have the right signature for it. But we have a town copy here of that also. Reggie, did you see this that I already signed on November 15th? Is that?
There's two. One's an invoice and one's actually a contract amendment.
Ah,
There's two contract amendments, one for Pioneer Valley Planning and one for Hilltown CDC.
So do we sign all 4
Yes,
copies here?
there's actually 8 total, 9 plus the invoice.
that's why my signature is so fast.
So you better sign these too.
Yep, I'll be right there.
Well, I better not attest to it before you sign. Somebody else might come in.
A written word. What does that do? That's the discharge of the lien on real estate, so we are the lien holder.
Yeah, I realize that. We're going to sign that, though, don't we?
I have to sign it in front of a notary public,
Okay,
which is
good.
Eileen, because Michael didn't bring his stamp with him.
I would, if someone, yeah, if you let me know ahead, I'll bring my stamp or my seal.
Look at the other guy who signed this, and
Boy,
see that? You can barely see that, too. This goes with it, too. Okay, moving down the line, then, we have the Entering Town Administrator's Report. Right now, we're down to Officer, something for student appointment.
Appointment of student officer, which is the police department. Officer Latour is an officer at this time who is going to the police academy, and it's just a formality of asking the board members to appoint him as a student officer.
So moved.
Second?
Any further discussion? The motion's been made and seconded to appoint Officer Latour as a student officer. Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Request to attend free seminar. Is that you, Reggie?
Actually, it's for, I'm going to send out the notice for everybody.
Oh, it's for us.
It's for everybody, yes. A conservation, many boards and committees, so I will send it to everyone as well.
Mhm.
But I would like your permission if I may attend,
Mhm.
please.
Do a motion for that, or?
I don't think so. I think we can just grant it by dint of authority.
I think by executive authority.
Okay, go. Okay, upcoming events and meetings. Next meeting is here, February the 21st. So next Tuesday being Valentine's Day, we're off for that reason, I'm sure. March 6th and 20th, meeting room here, of course, discussion items. We go all the way down to new town hall updates. Custodial, we've talked about. Security, there was an email that went out regarding the doors that I assume everybody saw, which was pretty informative. We're getting really close, I think, on the main door. And the punch list, similarly. The senior center, have you heard anything, Reggie, one way or the other?
I have not heard anything yet.
Okay. Building use policy, we're still reviewing that. Emergency management and budgets. And budgets, you have a meeting set up for the 28th with Finance Committee for us.
Yes.
And then they also are meeting individually with the department heads to discuss, and then we will all get together for a big enclave.
Yes, and on the second page of your packet, I put out, when would you like to meet with, I put a date in there anyway, but when would you like to meet with the department heads, the boards and committees, for them to review the budgets with the finance committee?
Being one of our regular scheduled nights?
I think this is when we usually start coming in on a weekly basis as opposed to bi-weekly.
So we,
Right.
hi Ed, we're just moving over to you. I agree with Michael, next month or so, we're going to be every week, so my suggestion would be to go ahead and schedule every week. And then we'll just start lining them up as they're available. You all?
So right now, do we have a meeting on the 28th?
No, we don't, but
No, okay.
we probably will.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm meeting with the finance.
Right.
you start March with a weekly meeting.
Yeah, let's talk about
Because you're into budget seasons, which brings up the next question is, none of the unions have contacted us yet, have they?
I've contacted them.
Oh, you have? Good. I
I've
was going to
asked
make
for
that.
their proposals. Yes.
That was going to be my next suggestion, is that we contact the unions, and because they're all July 1st, I think, right?
June 30th.
June 30th.
2012. Yes, you're right.
Effectively July 1st, okay. Okay, good. Are you here for the public for anything?
I'm just here. I'm a Patrick Wright from 14 East Street, and I'm a new member of the Board of Trustees for the library.
Oh, great.
And I understand the director is supposed to be here tonight, perhaps?
Not that I'm aware of. There
No.
was a open house welcoming for her last Thursday night
Right.
that several of us attended, Patrick, but she's not on the agenda.
Okay, that's
She's,
fine.
she's meeting with the finance committee, if I'm not mistaken. I could be.
that tonight?
Yes,
Do you know where that is?
upstairs.
Is it now? 7:30
It might
perhaps?
be now.
She's not there yet.
She's not, okay. It would be up the,
But that's where I'm supposed to be. All right, thank you.
Patrick, welcome to the library trustees.
Thank you so much.
up
You
the
said
stairs,
welcome.
and the meeting room is on the right-hand side.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anything else then before we move into executive session? And I have a couple of things I wanted to bring up afterwards, so we will be going back into open session just for a couple of minutes. That said, let's see, we're going to, excuse me, what's your leg?